So you want to save money, or you need to save money, or you're trying to figure out how to make it to the next payday. I have been there, and sometimes I'm still there depending on what is going on that month. But today we're going to talk about ways to make something out of nothing in your house. We can look in our fridge and in our pantry and feel like we have nothing to eat. What are we going to do? Are we going to run to the store and mess up our budget or put it on a credit card? Are we going to try to eat something that doesn't really sound good? What are we going to do when we get in those situations? Hi, I'm Bonita, and I'm from rural Kansas. I early retired in October of 2023. I'm not old enough for Social Security. I have a little less than 2 years before I can apply. So I'm living on a very low income right now until Social Security kicks in, and I'm making ends meet because I am motivated to make ends meet so that I have my freedom. And today we are going to talk about how to make something out of nothing. I remember when I was a young mother and I had 5 or 6 kids at home. Sometimes I would come home, the teenage boys would meet me at the door and they'd be like, "What are we having to eat?" Because they were always hungry. And sometimes I did not have a clue. Just trying to get up, get them to school, get the clothes washed, get the dishes done, get the groceries picked up, get home, make it through the day. That was all I could handle. And by the time I got home, my brain was kind of numb and I'd be like, "Oh, wow, now we got to figure out what to eat." So I hope this video helps you. If you're in one of those areas today, let me know if it does or if you have any other great ideas that we can share with the community. Let's get started. It can be easy to open your fridge and just say, "Gosh, I don't have anything to eat." I have a couple of containers of leftovers from doing some mystery shopping. I can stretch those into other meals. I have a little bit of ham and beans here. I have about 3 to 4 slices of pork roast that I made here. I have some bologna. I have some deli turkey butter, a sweet baked potato, a little dab of cooked rice, some broccoli, some cream cheese and cheeses. I have some Brussels sprouts down here, some cabbage. But overall, when you look in there, you're like, wow, there's just not that much to make a meal out of. So one of the things I didn't show you is I did also have some tortillas in one of those bottom crisper drawers. So one of the things that I could do is I could take that leftover pork loin. I could chop it up because it was cooked in the turkey roaster. It was slow cooked. It's very soft. I could shred that up and make it into a type of pork roll up or a pork taco. I could add some of that cabbage and shred that up and put it in there as well. I also had some sour cream in there if I wanted, but just the pork meat and the cabbage in a tortilla, absolutely delicious. And you feel like you had something really special, like you went to a restaurant. Sometimes it's really hard to see what we can do with what we have. And we have to get creative because sometimes we just have little dabs in the fridge and it doesn't look like we have anything when we just name off what we have. But when we get creative, we can come up with meals like that. And my husband always says that I can make something out of nothing and I can just go in the kitchen and throw a meal together. Well, that's because it took years of practice when I had a bunch of kids at home that could just about eat me out of house and home. I had to get creative with the little dabs I had to make my money stretch. And I still use that skill today, and it comes in handy in early retirement. Stretching what you have to make a meal or two or three can be a great skill. So I'm going to show you next another meal that I made that my husband is going to take to work as leftovers. And we also had a meal and he had seconds. So this is something that I just threw together out of some dabs that I had. And bulking up your recipes or doing things like soups, stews, stir fries, casseroles, they can really stretch what you have. So I hope you enjoyed this next recipe. I had just a little over half of this smoked sausage left, so I cut it up in small slices. I like to saute this till it caramelizes just a little bit, and I'm going to make a stir fry with this today because I have a lot of vegetables, so I can really bulk this up to make it stretch. I hate doing dishes, but some of these things take a little extra time to cook. So I've started 3 potatoes that I diced up and 1 large sweet carrot that I cut up thinly so that it would cook about the same time as the potatoes. And I'm going to cook these in another pan and get my other ingredients in the other pan going so that I can mix them all together in the end and have enough room for all of it. I added some salt and pepper to the carrots and the potatoes because I'm going to be adding so many extra vegetables that I felt like it needed a little bit of extra flavor. I also added some olive oil, a little bit of sesame seed oil, and I added some garlic powder. These were all things I had on hand. I cut up about 3/4 of a yellow onion and I shredded up some of that cabbage to mix in to bulk up this recipe. I also added some chopped yellow pepper that I had in the freezer. When everything was done, I mixed it all together and I added just a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, and this was absolutely delicious, and we just threw it together. Another little trick that I started when I was wintering in Texas in my RV by myself, and I had a small fridge, a small freezer, a small pantry in the RV, is I started making a list of the things that I could eat that I had on hand. And I've started doing that for the times that I'm here by myself and I get hungry and I think, wow, there's nothing to eat. I started making a list of what there is to eat. So then when I feel like that, I can refer to the list and I can look at this and I see, well, I have multigrain bread. I could toast some of that with butter. I have some macaroni and cheese cups that I bought on clearance. I could have one of those. I have ramen. I have muffin mix that I could make muffins or I could make pancakes. I have pancake mix. I have popcorn. I have soup. I have yogurt. I have tuna. I have some crackers. You see where I'm going with this. I have a list of things that I can go to so I can quickly see what I really have to eat when it feels like there's nothing to eat. And then I can look at this and it jogs my memory. Oh, yeah, I have some yogurt shoved back in the fridge. I can have one of those. And that helps me see that I actually do have a lot to eat. I just can't see it right that minute. So make yourself a little snack list. If you have kids at home, this is a great idea. Put it on the fridge. That way, when they come in and they want snacks, they can see what there is that they can eat. And you can see at a glance what you can tell them to eat if they come in and say that they're hungry or you feel like you don't have anything to make. And this has been a great lifesaver. It has helped me get through times where money was short, or maybe I didn't have the space, like in the RV, to buy more stuff. It helped me get through those times by seeing what I actually had. And when I read through those, it would trigger oh, that sounds good. And so I would grab that instead of going to the store. Just that little dab of rice I had in the fridge, I could take some of that pork, put it on the rice with some of that liquid that I cooked it in, and have a pork loin slice over rice. I could saute up some Brussels sprouts and put that on the side. I could have put Brussels sprouts and broccoli in my stir fry. My husband doesn't like those. That's why I didn't put them in there. But if it had been just me, I could have put them in there. I could add some Parmesan cheese to the sauteed Brussels sprouts. There's so many things I could have done with that small amount of dabs that I had in my fridge. And I know there are endless ideas that you could probably come up with as well. It just takes us taking a minute, instead of just getting in the car and going to the store, to look at what we have and see how we can combine that to make a meal, multiple meals, to come up with ways that we can use the things we already have and not spend more money. Many times our first reaction is to get in our car and run to the store and grab something to eat. It takes a little bit of time and creativity to actually look at what we have and figure out what to make, or to find some things that are hidden and put them together. In the store, everything's organized. We know where everything is at. If something sounds good in our head, we know what aisle to just go and grab it. And so many times it seems easier and faster to run to the store. So I'm hoping that this video helps encourage you to stop for just a second and see what we have in our own pantry and freezer and refrigerator. I hope this video has helped you think about the things in your fridge. I hope it has helped you think of ways that you can be creative or use the things that you have to be able to maybe keep that $10 in your wallet just a little bit longer to help you get through the next tough time. Thanks for listening today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next one.